Hi, my name is Gerald Fogarty and I'm a radiation oncologist in Sydney. I'm the head of the Australasian Merkel Interest Group, what's known as AMIGOs, which is part of Melanoma and Skin Cancer Trials Australia. Thanks very much for being involved in our video today, which is focusing on a new trial in Merkel Cell Carcinoma. It's now my pleasure to ask the other participants to introduce themselves. Firstly, Jonathan Pincus, the head of our patient advocacy group, and then Dr. Wen Xu, who is the principal investigator of this new trial. Jonathan, let's hear from you.
Good day, everybody. I'm Jonathan Pincus. As said, I was a Merkel Cell Carcinoma patient diagnosed in 2014 with it in my lymph system, and I went into the usual treatment of things cut out and head and neck radiation, and then into immunotherapy in 2015, which I've been self-funding ever since with magnificent results. I haven't had any recurrence whatsoever of the cancer and had very minor side effects. And I'm the chair of the interest group, which mostly focused on trying to get avelumab onto the PBS, the free list. That's it.
Thanks, Jonathan. Wen, would you like to tell us about yourself?
Sure, thank you, Gerald. My name is Wen Xu and I'm a medical oncologist based at the Princess Alexandra Hospital, PA Hospital in Brisbane. I specialise in the management of advanced skin cancers and I have a special interest in Merkel Cell Carcinoma. Now, Merkel Cell Carcinoma is a rare but extremely aggressive neuroendocrine cancer of the skin, which disproportionately affects the elderly and patients whose immune systems are suppressed. Merkel's has always been dear to my heart because in my home state of Queensland, we have the highest incidence of this cancer in the world at 1.6 per 100,000. Stage for stage, Merkel's is by far the deadliest skin cancer of all, far deadlier than melanoma, for example. But partly because it's so rare and partly because it tends to affect relatively elderly, frail patients, historically it's been very difficult to conduct good quality clinical trials in this disease, which is of course necessary to improve outcomes in this cancer. Thanks, Gerald.
Thanks, Wen. Well, I'm just going to give a brief background about Merkel cell carcinoma. It is different from melanoma in a number of ways. It was first described only in 1972. It is rare, but the incidence is rising. Australia has twice the incidence of the US and Europe. Causative agents include UV light from sun exposure, but also it's thought that a polyomavirus has a role in the causation. As Wen said, it's found in the elderly and immunosuppressed. Oftentimes it's described initially as being a purple lump underneath the skin. It can metastasize early to regional lymph nodes and also then distantly through the body. It does have a high death rate, more than melanoma. Traditional therapies have been surgery and radiotherapy for early stage disease. New drugs, especially immunotherapy, as Jonathan mentioned, have been shown to be effective when the disease is spread through the body. It is very hard to develop evidence to guide how to treat as there are so few cases to put on trials. Cooperation between centres and even countries is necessary to get the numbers, hence the involvement of mass trials, an Australian-based trials group that has been very successful at completing accrual to international trials. We're now going to hear from Wen again about the new trial and then from Jonathan about the importance of this trial for patients. Thanks, Wen.
Thanks, Gerald. So I'm the lead investigator of the IMAT trial, which stands for Immunotherapy Merkel Adjuvant Trial. Just a little bit of background. Until about 2016, we used to treat advanced Merkel cell carcinoma with chemotherapy, which was a toxic treatment with a high burden of side effects. And while chemo can work for Merkel's, responses are usually very short-lived. Because of its unique biology, Merkel cell carcinoma is actually exquisitely sensitive to immunotherapy. Immunotherapy works by taking the brakes of your own immune system and allowing your immune system to re-recognize and fight the cancer. Immunotherapy represents a major breakthrough because it has significantly fewer side effects than chemotherapy and generally leads to much more durable responses. Now, the immunotherapy drug avelumab has been approved for the management of advanced Merkel's in Australia since around May 2019. And while we know that it works very well in Merkel's patients with advanced metastatic disease, we don't yet know whether it will work for patients with early stage Merkel's, which is either confined to the skin or has only spread to the local lymph nodes. Now, my trial is looking at whether by treating these patients at an earlier stage, if we can give them 6 months of immunotherapy right after surgery, starting in combination of radiotherapy before these patients become metastatic, whether we can improve cure rates for these patients. Back to you, Gerald. Thank you.
Thanks, Wen. So we are beginning to open the trial in all Australian states, and there is some good funding for the trial as well. So we really hope that people will get to know about the trial, because the trial, we hope, will really benefit patients in the long run. Perhaps Jonathan might like to say a few words about how this trial might help patients in the long run. Thanks, Jonathan.
Well, in the patients who join the trial have a big advantage that they get access to very expert clinical treatment, and also have access and could have access to treatments that otherwise they wouldn't get access to. So, but the patients generally can benefit enormously, as I have from previous trials which showed that the drug that I used was very effective. But as Wen's pointed out, the drug that's available in the PBS is only available past a certain stage and not available for early stages. I think I was a trial of one, because I had one metastatic thing removed, one lymph node removed and radiotherapy, and then I went on to this drug, and I've had very, very good outcomes. I was on it early, as it were, rather than waited till late. So very important for people to have the access to best treatment, but we can't work out what the best treatment is unless we have scientifically devised experiments and trials. So this, the long term, very important for Merkel cell. Thank you, Gerald.
Thanks, Jonathan. Okay, well, we've described the beginnings of the IMAT trial. We hope that you'll know about this trial, and anyone in your immediate environs who may qualify for the trial is very welcome to come forward and be on the trial. Thanks for your attention today, and I hope that you can help us complete the trial for the good of Merkel cell patients around the world. Thank you so much.